The 1950s, a time when kitchens were the heart of the home, bustling with the aroma of fresh-baked bread, sizzling bacon, and percolating coffee. A time when homemakers took pride in the latest kitchen innovations, each promising to make life easier, meals tastier, and gatherings more delightful. Let's step back in time and explore the must-have kitchen gadgets of the fabulous 50s. Before the modern electric hand mixer, there was the trusty rotary egg beater. With a few swift turns of the handle, eggs were whisked to perfection, making Sunday morning pancakes a breeze. A true kitchen workhorse, simple yet effective. Did you know that this gadget dates back to the 19th century? But by the 1950s, nearly every kitchen had one. Many were designed with brightly colored handles to match the popular pastel kitchen trends. Some families even passed down their rotary beaters as heirlooms, treasuring them as symbols of homemade goodness. Nothing said modern convenience like the Sunbeam Mixmaster or the KitchenAid stand mixer. With its elegant curves, this was more than a gadget. It was a status symbol. Homemakers effortlessly whipped up cakes, meringues, and fluffy mashed potatoes, all at the turn of a dial. Fun fact, the Sunbeam Mixmaster was so well loved that many vintage models are still in working condition today. In fact, some advertisements boasted that it could mix up a perfect cake in just 3 minutes. Quite the selling point for the busy 1950s homemaker. In an era when butter ruled the dinner table, having perfectly portioned pats was a must. Enter the butter cutter, a simple yet charming device that pressed through a stick of butter, slicing it into delicate, uniform squares, just right for your morning toast. Here's a little-known fact. Some models even had decorative molds to create fancy butter shapes for special occasions. In high society homes, these shaped butter pats were a mark of sophistication, impressing dinner guests with their detail. Breakfast time was never the same after the pop-up toaster became a household essential. No more turning bread over an open flame. Just drop in a slice, and out it came, golden and crisp. Brands like Toastmaster and Sunbeam brought space-age convenience right to the breakfast nook. Oh, and did you know that some early models even had a watch function, allowing the user to peek at the toast's progress without interrupting the cycle? Toasters of the 1950s were often designed in stylish chrome finishes to match the futuristic aesthetic of the decade. For the host or hostess who loved a good highball, a hand-cranked ice crusher was a necessity. Whether for a Tom Collins or an ice-cold soda, crushed ice was a touch of luxury that turned any drink into a sophisticated delight. Fun fact, some ice crushers were designed to mount onto countertops or walls, making them a permanent fixture in cocktail-friendly kitchens. Many post-war households embraced cocktail culture, and no home bar was complete without one of these. Coffee lovers, rejoice. The electric percolator ensured that coffee was always fresh, always hot, and always ready for an impromptu chat with a neighbor. The rhythmic bubbling of the percolator became the morning soundtrack of many American homes. Did you know that some 1950s percolators featured glass knobs on top so you could watch the coffee brew? Housewives often prided themselves on their percolators, claiming that the longer the coffee brewed, the richer the flavor. No 1950s dinner party was complete without a show-stopping Jell-O salad. These aluminum molds turned gelatin into edible works of art, often suspended with fruit, marshmallows, or even vegetables, because in the 50s, anything was possible with Jell-O. Little-known fact, some families had signature Jell-O mold recipes that were passed down through generations. Cookbooks of the era featured elaborate molded creations, some involving mayonnaise and seafood, a true testament to mid-century culinary creativity. Before supermarkets did all the work, many homemakers ground their own meat with a trusty hand-cranked grinder. Perfect for crafting homemade hamburgers, meatloaf, meatballs, or even stuffing sausages for Sunday dinner. Some meat grinders came with additional attachments for making pasta or cookie dough. In many households, children were given the important task of turning the crank while their mothers prepared the meat mixture. Fluffy, lump-free mashed potatoes were a dinnertime staple, and the potato masher or ricer made sure they were just right. Paired with a steaming roast and rich gravy, it was the taste of home. Here's an interesting tidbit. Some ricers were marketed as baby food makers, ensuring that the little ones could have homemade meals too. In the 50s, potatoes were a staple food, and using a ricer was considered the secret to the creamiest, most indulgent mashed potatoes. For the busy homemaker looking to cut cooking time, the pressure cooker was a game changer. It turned tough cuts of meat into tender feasts in record time. A little intimidating, perhaps, but a true marvel of mid-century efficiency. Little-known fact, early pressure cookers were known for their loud hissing sounds, leading some cautious cooks to keep at a safe distance while the appliance worked its magic. However, once mastered, the pressure cooker was praised for its ability to create flavorful meals in a fraction of the time. Cutting a sponge cake with a knife? Unthinkable. The cake breaker, with its long, delicate tines, ensured perfect slices without deflating the delicate structure of a homemade angel food cake, a must-have for every baker. Did you know that some cake breakers were designed with ornate handles, making them as decorative as they were functional? Angel food cakes were a household favorite, and using a cake breaker was considered a mark of true baking expertise. Canned goods? No electric gadgets needed, just a little elbow grease and a trusty manual can opener to get to the pantry staples inside. Beans, peaches, tomato sauce. This little gadget unlocked a world of meal possibilities. Fun fact, many 1950s kitchens had a wall-mounted version to keep it handy for everyday use. With the rise of canned goods, this tool became indispensable in meal preparation. These were the tools of the trade, the gadgets that turned 1950s kitchens into the heart of the home. They weren't just appliances, they were symbols of progress, of hospitality, of a time when every meal was made with love and a little bit of charm. If you enjoyed this peek into American culture, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share your favorite 1950s kitchen gadget in the comments below, and stay tuned for our next exploration of the golden era of the 50s and 60s.